Hunting Big with Steve Bartilla. Brought to you by
we are good and great at setting up targets in our backyard, going ahead, pacing off 20 yards, and taking those practice shots. That's awesome for building muscle memory, for getting sighted in, for identifying form issues. All that stuff is important. Never forget, our goal though isn't to see deer. I mean, I can't dictate your goals to you, but most people's goals isn't just to see deer. The seeing deer part is fun. It is an absolute blast. Many people are trying to place their tags on these animals. If you're trying to place your tag on it, you know what? Getting set up so you're within 15 to 20 yards of an unsuspecting whitetail is huge. But we need to make that shot. If we're going to take a shot, we owe it to the animal, we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to fellow hunters to go ahead and stack the odds to be sure that that shot is successful. That should go without saying. Practicing in the backyard, like the traditional practice methods, really doesn't do that much to help. Instead, make practice as real as you possibly can. Want to know what it's like to shoot in legal yet low light situations? Practice in low light situations. You want to know what it's like shooting with that stiff cross breeze? Shoot with a stiff cross breeze. What will a little bit of moisture do, a light rain do for your arrow trajectory? Practice. Make practice as real as you can, and you know what? All of a sudden that muscle memory, you've been here before. You've done this before. Every scenario that we can go ahead and practice beforehand gives us an opportunity to identify any issues that we may have. And it makes us more comfortable, more confident. Rather than practice at 20 yards, I'm going to practice at 80. Because by practicing at 80, oh geez, that 20-yard shot sure seems easy. And I'll practice from the stands that I hunt, and I'll dress at times like I hunt. Okay, now when it comes to actually finding that tree, we go ahead, and this is also a portion where we need to address if we want to maximize the odds of making this hunt successful. We'll walk around the woods like this for seemingly hours, at least I will, trying to find that right tree. Okay, that's good and great, but how are we going to make that shot? Make sure that we are oriented in that stand when possible. What I'm describing is utopia. We don't always get utopia, but when possible, be sure that we're naturally oriented in that stand for how the shot is going to occur. Now, minimize our movement. Make sure that the hooks, bow hooks, are cheap. Now, get a bunch of them, so your gear is right there rather than having to turn around the tree and try when that deer's coming. Set yourself, if you can, off of that whitetail sight line, approaching sight line. If he's looking right at you as he's approaching, a lot harder to get ready than if you're off over there and he's looking like this, or she's looking like that for that matter. Always ask yourself in the stand, what are the little things I can do? If possible, don't set the stand so you're looking right into the sun. That's not comfortable, and right now I'm seeing all sorts of dots in my eyes. Go through the motions of actually making shots in the stand and then address the little things that make those difference makers. The more we can proactively address these type of things, the better. When you're done prepping that stand, ask yourself every single time, what can I do to make this stand hunt even better? Final thoughts. Brought to you by Huntworth. We are good and great at practicing out in the backyard. That's awesome. We need to do that type of stuff. It builds muscle memory, it gets us sighted in, all that good stuff. But then, after you get sighted in, do stuff like practice at twice your ethical shooting range at an animal. Okay. No, you're not going to shoot at animals that distance, but by practicing that distance, it really points out any flaws in form, in setup, all that good stuff. And Psychologically, it makes that 20-yard shot so ridiculously much easier. Then, as it applies specifically to your stands, ask yourself, how can I tweak these setups to make it easier for me to make the shot? So I have to move less, so I'm not directly in that animal's line of sight, so I'm not staring into the sun. And mission critical, wind direction. I have a safe wind direction for my odors to blow, or I take odor control so super darn seriously. Then, when that stand's done, ask yourself, what can I do to make it hunt even better? Our goal is not to go ahead and see deer when we're out hunting. Our goal is to have shot opportunities if we choose to take them.